Hello and welcome to the Triple D live stream. Are we calling it Triple D? Uh,
That's what I
Dungeons
call
Dragons.
it.
Dungeons
Discourse.
Dragons.
That's what I call it.
Okay. I am Eric Tenkar, half your host with the most, and the other half is none other than the one, the only, old man Glen Tenkar.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Sit back and relax. Enjoy the show.
How's
Oh,
that?
that was that
Welcome
was
to welcome to the final episode of Triple D. Seeing as
final.
we're not, so I guess since we're not going to be using StreamYard pretty soon, I guess where
Oh, we're
I'm
gonna
out of.
be we'll be figuring something out.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Glenn has touched upon something that's near and dear to my heart.
Well, it's
Um,
it's the
oh,
foundation of your media
yeah,
empire.
the media empire. Matthew, Mr. Gunn, and Willenona. Thank you. Uh,
Whoa,
welcome.
whoa.
So, for those that are playing along at home, um, StreamYard is doing something I would consider a little underhanded. Okay, they are doing away with their old plans, introducing new plans. But when they introduce their new plans, they don't include pricing for the new plans. They just tell you how much more you're going to get, which isn't all that much more. And when you find out the new plan is when you get your next bill, and
How
then the
sneaky.
next how sneaky, right? And it went from $20 for the basic to 45, and it went from professional plan was 39. That's now 85. I was into the professional plan. I thought I was getting.
Ah,
So now, so
Ugly,
now
Ugly says, are they owned by Hasbro?
it sure as hell seems like it. So now, yeah, I was like, I gotta find alternatives, and the two alternatives that I have been looking at are Restream, which apparently is very similar to StreamYard, and they're offering a 20% discount if you're coming from
Stream.
StreamYard. And the other one is from Streamlabs. That is, what is it called? God, I one oh God, they used to call it something different, but they have all in one deal for streaming at Streamlabs, which gives you an app for your computer, an app for your mobile device, and a web app for $12.50 a month. So I think that might be where we're going, but we shall see. I don't have to figure this out in full until December because I paid a year up front. So, but yeah, no, it's a little asinine, if you ask me.
Well, that's a good way to put it.
Yes, optional rule and Fugly, welcome. So,
So
oh,
let's
there's
get
no football.
let's get
Got it.
down to let's get down to brass tacks. What are you drinking tonight?
Um, nothing exciting, Glenn. I'm sorry. I am drinking uh Walmart's enhanced water with caffeine and my jiggly.
Caffeine,
Um,
huh?
yeah, little caffeine. Listen. Uh, oh, and another announcement. Gamers Health is being punted until Sunday night. So if you're a football watcher, forgive me, but we'll be at a wedding. By the way, Glenn, It's the wedding of the last of my unmarried players in my high school/college group.
There goes your
So
group.
my friend John, who was
Hmm.
the last holdout,
Hmm.
John is getting married tomorrow. So
John's getting
uh,
married in the morning.
yeah, so we will be at a wedding reception tomorrow evening. So there
Okay.
will be no live stream. You're gonna have to wait to Sunday to find out what kind of weight loss is going on for Rich and I, since we had multiple doctors tell us you got to lose weight. So you know,
Well,
well,
guess. Oh, okay.
you know,
Okay. So you got your caffeinated water there.
yes,
I'm drinking tonight. I'm drinking Mr. Pibb Ultra.
Mr. Pibb,
Yep.
Pibb,
Get it in this part of the country.
Yeah, you can get that up.
Pibb does not come into the major. I noticed Mr. Pibb does not come into the major cities, but you can
Really?
and we're like 30 miles outside on the outskirts, and they'll sell it there. I think it has to do with like Dr. Pepper has the monopoly in the major cities or something like that. And this is way better than Dr. Pepper. So
That's
there's that.
interesting.
Hello, BM, but Bad Mike.
Oh, okay. So I just did Mr. Pibb market, and the first answer you get is Pibb is hard to find in cans and bottles, most likely due to the fact that you probably live in a state where Coke has the rights to Dr. Pepper.
That's true.
Okay.
Yes, they do. So I guess if like Pepsi has the rights or somebody else, yeah.
I guess if Pepsi had,
because
Coke has the right. Coke probably bottles for Dr. Pepper too.
Yeah.
So they're going to do one or the other, and it's
yeah. Right. I just find it strange because this is supposed to be their Dr. Pepper because it's made by the Coca-Cola company.
All right, but I guess it isn't a Coca-Cola brand. Coca-Cola bottles it. It's that weird ass.
But I like it better, and I noticed it's marketed as a spiced cherry soda.
This cherry soda for those discriminating tastes.
See, this is close as I get. One time that I told you about, one time we were coming home from New Mexico, and I stopped at this little podunk convenience store, and they had cheer wine in 12 packs.
I've heard of cheer wine, but
I bought 4 of them and brought them home. Yeah, cheer wine is cherry soda. Who'd have thought?
Okay.
I love the cherry. I love cherry soda, and you hardly ever find it. I ever find cheer wine is like in the hardware stores where you have all the different kinds of sodas, and it's like $2 a bottle. I won't buy that. Anyway, so I guess our Walmart carries Pibb too. So yeah. So what are we up to? Up to about 8 minutes.
Oh no, Glenn! We got so much time to go through. How are we gonna do it?
Yeah. Well, we get Bad Mike on here to extend the time then. Now nobody knows, but everybody knows. And I'm going to be coming out to see you guys in about 8 weeks.
Yes, we actually do one of the. It's going to be weird, Glenn, because if you watch Gamers Health, I don't have a full size desk. I got a small desk that fits into our TV viewing room with a cat table to the one side and my recliner kind of semi-catted behind me. But we fit Rach and I next to each other to do Gamers Health. So we'll find a way to get Glenn to do one of our triple Ds.
I'm hoping to do it live.
Or we'll do it, or we'll be in the Poconos and we'll do it. That's fun.
Yeah.
Kitchen table. We got everything to set up.
Well, while I'm there, I'm going to be looking for a nice anniversary / birthday present for Becky.
Ooh.
And I think I know which way I want to go with that.
Should I ask?
She's into since we are closing on the house Monday.
Congratulations.
And so she's been filling the house with furniture and pictures and decorating and all that stuff. In fact, tomorrow we're supposed to go back to antique stores in the city and look for stuff. And so I'm going to be looking for some kind of picture, frame picture that she can hang up.
Right.
I kind of know what she likes now. So if it's green or it has cows in it.
So in other words, you want to hit the antique stores out in the Poconos.
Oh, they have antique stores out there?
Oh, they're fucking everywhere, dude.
Oh,
I don't even walk in. I haven't walked into an antique store in years, but
don't tell her she's going to give me a list. But I need an end table.
Glenn, you're not driving back. You're flying back.
You're right. You're right.
In fact,
if I hadn't gotten the flight, that would have been good. I can go to there's a lot of antique stores in the Poconos. If you want me to drive, I can, bring
there you go.
I'll bring that end table home for you. But Poconos or New York or the city or wherever,
Yeah. Well, Poconos would be better pricing if you're hitting antiques.
Oh yeah.
You don't want that New York metropolitan markup at all.
Well, I'm going to be spending the weekend, pretty much the whole weekend, with Jason, my friend Jason, in wherever the hell he is. I always want to say New Jersey, and it's not Jersey.
He's so far out in Long Island, it might as well be New Jersey.
Long Island. He'll be in Long Island. I guess to earn my keep, I have to run a couple of games. And then Sunday, we're going to be going to Comic-Con.
Nice.
And and with you, I have no idea, but I am excited.
So part of Glen's experience will be a tour of my old stomping grounds in the late 90s. So he'll get to see locations like, hey, on the roof of this building is where I almost shot somebody when he was taking a shit. This is the hill I drove down on a bike and wrecked at the bottom. Ouch. Thankfully not killing myself.
Good.
And Mr. Gunn, I don't know who the fuck you think I am if I am not who I am. So I don't know. Maybe your computer screen only shows half the side. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. And Jason says, well, I think it was somebody said, what are you going to do? You want to go to see the sights? I said, well, let me tell you what I don't want to do. One, I don't want to go up to the Empire State Building. And two, I don't want to see a show, Broadway or otherwise. And he says, well, why do you want to not to? I said, money.
Listen, first off, Broadway shows, if you are not 5'7", 150 pounds, they're not enjoyable.
Oh, it's like riding on the plane over there.
No, the seats are smaller, dude. And they haven't listen, these expensive theaters, they are penny pinchers. They'll fix those seats, I don't know, every 20 years.
Well, apparently they got some off-Broadway show, something that has to do with D&D, something tavern out there. And Jason's really pushing me to see. You and Eric ought to come see the show. It's really nice. It's like,
wait, has he seen it? Has he seen it?
He said he did.
All right. Well, God bless him.
Well, hey, if you can base a stage show on D&D, that's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Mike, yes, he'll get to see Fort Apache, the actual Fort Apache building, where they filmed the indoor scenes. He will also get an opportunity to see where the Warriors of the Wasteland, the 4-2, where they filmed the outdoor scenes because of the way it's set up and located. If the 4-0 is still standing, I'll show him the old 4-0 on Alexander. That one, they built a new precinct, and I don't know if they tore down the old one. That one was an interesting location too. But yeah, no, get a good tour.
Okay. Well, I'm sure I will. I'll probably end up over on the island sometime. I told Becky, you know what I really want to do? I just like to take a nice long walk in Central Park. That's easy.
Yeah, Glenn wants
During
to be
the day. During the day.
Oh, okay, all right. That's okay. You're allowed. You're allowed.
Yeah.
You know. Well, I mean, we'll show you some surprise. Like we have a park called Forest Park in Queens that you would be
Oh,
very surprised
okay.
that there's a forest in Queens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It has hiking trails. Actually, we have a couple of parks that have hiking trails.
Well, Long Beach has my hometown Long Beach has El Dorado Park, which is absolutely humongous. And they have a nature center in there that has a 1 or 2 mile walking trail and it's like you're in the middle of the wilderness in the city. And it's unbelievable.
You know.
It's really, really nice. Oh, and I told Becky, he said, Eric lives in Queens. So what? I said, I get to see where Archie Bunker lived.
Probably could drive by that building too. I got to look it up.
I mean, I said,
I'm just saying.
I'll be in the borough.
You'll be in the borough. You'll be in the borough of Queens. The Mets won't be playing, the Yankees won't be playing, but we can do drive-bys.
We can imagine. We can imagine.
I'd be like, that's Citi Field, and the parking lot is where Shea Stadium used to be.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's the new Yankee Stadium, not the old Yankee Stadium or the older Yankee Stadium.
Jason's got me working since I have to run a couple of games. What about you?
Work?
No, I mean as far as do I need to run anything while I'm there?
Yeah, bring yourself, dude. That's it.
Well, I mean, I'll have my stuff already,
Bring yourself, Glenn. That's all I have. Listen, you're not working with me. Your responsibilities are.
Well, I'm being facetious, but
I know.
I mean, bring myself. What? No clothes?
Well, Glenn, listen, we're not here to be James Bond flashing people, all right? I'm just saying.
Hey, we don't kink shame, okay? That's the rule around my game table with the Monday group. No kink shaming.
I didn't know your Monday group had a kink shaming issue.
He said, we just assume that everybody has a kink somewhere.
The kink.
Long live the kink.
So I don't know if the video is up on X. The live stream is supposed to be up on X, but my webpage is just showing a reload and it won't reload. So I don't know. I hope we're up on X.
What you mean on X Twit?
On X/Twitter. Because we do pretty generally we do pretty good viewership on X.
I call it X Twit.
X Twit?
Yeah.
Twitter X.
So I'm going on a plane. I had to think about weight. So that sort of really kind of constrained the kind of rule set I can bring. In other words, I can't bring Hyperborea, so they're not going to get a Hyperborea game out of me.
Glenn, bring Hyperborea. I'll bring it to the airport so I drop you off at Jason's. If you want to run it, I got the books. I'll just bring.
Oh, that's right. You got the book. Nah, I'm bringing these.
Oh, okay.
I finally got the player's book. Finally. So I'm going to run Old School Essentials, and if I want to run 1E, Jason's got plenty of 1E stuff. The guys, they're thrilled to have me there to run. They're thrilled to have me running a game. And finally I had to say, whoa, how many people are we talking about here? And it looks like upwards to 8 folks, maybe. More like 5.
Okay.
5 I can handle. I really don't want to handle any more than that. But if you come, of course.
Of course.
You and Race are always welcome.
Yeah, because we don't cause troubles.
Yeah.
No.
He said we could play on the pergola. I said, Gesundheit.
Oh, he means that outside. It's a beautiful set. It's a nice little.
As long as the weather cooperates, I'm all right with it.
Well, when you say cooperates, it could rain. You're covered. It's just the temperature-wise, it better not be one of those October. We've had Octobers where the temperature gets down near freezing. And you're like,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I want. It's like, do we really want me to come in October? Just because of Comic-Con, she wants me to come in October. But wait a minute. But I got a good deal on a flight, American Airlines. I'm still worried about checking a bag, so I may not. I don't know.
Right.
I've had good luck in the past, but you never know. I don't want to be in New York and my game bag is in Miami.
That could be a problem, yes. Although, like I said, except for material written by you, it's quite likely I have the hit rule system.
Well, I'm good at making stuff up.
Improv DMing is my strong point.
And I'm sure you're going to have skincare stuff and spices coming for you.
I love the spices, man. I love the spices.
Although I got to carry it on one of my carry-ons so it can come out. So TSA, it's like, what are you smuggling? Cocaine? No, it's garlic powder.
Garlic powder. That's garlic powder.
Jason told me one time he had a barbecue rub in his bag, and they had to take it out and taste it to make sure it wasn't anything else.
Come on.
Oh man, that's funny.
I got stopped by the TSA. They opened up my luggage. It was in coming back from, I guess, Game Hole, and they're going through my stuff because the random flagging and it was dead. It's a small airport, and they're like, "Oh, you're a D&D player?" And I'm like, Yeah. No, Source was your light. I wrote that. I had like 30 copies on me because they're thin. I'm like, yeah, take one. Oh, we can't. We're not allowed. I was like, oh, jeez. Because
I still got about 10. I still have about 8 copies of Swords and Wizardry Continual Light. I've got a case in here. I bought them from Bad Mike, about $30. I bought 10 of them because I thought I was going to be doing field testing out here and, giving them away as prizes and stuff. And that never happened.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
The trials and tribulations.
Now I can't do it unless I, talk to Matt or something. Do it that way.
You can still do it. I don't know why you can't do it.
It's
still available on Amazon. It's kind of, I'm not pushing the Continual Light, but I'm not taking it off sale yet either. Okay. So if people are interested in it, it's still out there. And Mike wants to know, how did he ever have 10 copies of Continual Light? I believe probably what happened is that I ordered it for Glenn through Amazon through my publisher account. So we got them at cost. That's
there you go. Yeah, $30,
All right, tons of Swords and Wizardry Light, still no Continue.
Yeah, what do you want? Anyway, I told you all about that because I had to run games for Jason and maybe you. I don't know, but I am starting to use ChatGPT for my inspiration.
Not a bad deal, actually.
See, AI does have its uses.
Right, you don't want it to write your adventure. But I've used it as kind of like we're talking about Matt. Matt's, Tumblr Adventure Design. I can go to ChatGPT, and I actually pay for the subscription. I get Chat 4, and I go, give me 5 adventure titles for Swords and Wizardry Adventure, and a brief synopsis of each. It's not running the adventure, but it's giving me seeds, and I can take that seed, and if I like it, I can turn it into something usable. If there are parts of it I like, I pick out the parts that I like and turn that into something usable. And if it's all shite, well, then it's shite.
Oh, you'll find something in there, Dan.
Oh no, I listen. Don't tell anybody. But when I sit down at the desk sometimes and go, oh man, I need to write I need a video for today, and I haven't. Usually I have an idea. I'll be like, uh, give me 5 ideas for a vidcast topic on old school slash OSR RPGs,
Mhm.
and it'll give out. And even if I'll be honest with you, it's never given me anything I've run with, but it's given me stuff where I went, oh, well, that makes me think of, and then I run with that. So
There
yeah,
you go. I mean, I went on there. It gave so far. It gave me a gangbuster scenario. It gave me a D&D scenario. And I just
really,
took both of them and pasted them into OneNote, and I may print them out or just pull my phone out and just start working on it. Changing what I want, elaborating. And these are, man, I didn't tell them to do. These are detailed. I mean, the gangbusters one, I expected like the usual 3-act structure,
right?
but it was like, okay, here's the place, here's the premise, here's what's the whole thing, who to talk to, here's the NPCs you can talk to. I mean, they didn't give you stats or anything, but it's like information overload. So
I
I just
can't
copied the
handle
whole
it.
thing, put it in there. Yeah. And what I like is you can refine stuff on it. Like I had when I did my D&D one, it's like, okay, give me a D&D adventure in a swamp for levels 1 to 3.
Right.
And it did. It just gives you a random name. So it said, call the swamp Stump's Bottom Swamp. Then it'll go back and put that in, or put the antagonist as this. Okay, fine. We'll make him that. So it's beautiful. I mean, just as a starting point, boom,
Mm-hmm.
it
See,
is.
I think the issue becomes, and we've seen this. It's like AI art.
Uh-huh,
Okay, the the AI art that people can't distinguish from regular real art
uh-huh.
is the art that the artist, and I'm going to use that in quotation marks, but the digital artist goes back in and takes that AI piece and then works it into a final piece. And it's the same thing with AI writing. You don't want AI writing your adventure, but you giving you the basic plot and all that stuff. Yeah, and then you go in and you refine it.
Yeah. But
When it does all the work, it's nothing. It's usable for you or me at the table because we will fill in the missing.
right.
We will give it that soul. But I think that AI stuff is often lacking that creative soul until the hands not of a master, but of a skilled writer or skilled artist comes in to complete it.
Right. What I like is the fact that you can refine it. I like to refine it, not I want to refine whatever they give me enough to where, okay, it's all set up. Let me put it over here. I will work on it.
Right.
Basically it's just substituting names and places, you know.
Okay.
So I don't, just less that I have to do.
Right.
So I work it to a point where I can actually say, here, I'll take this and thank you very much. I'll take it from here, that kind of thing. Uh, why don't you get Mike in on this? I'd love to hear his thoughts about AI. Anyway, it's just,
Um,
it's a better
well,
tool than I thought it was.
yeah, Robert, it can do even more than that. It's amazing technology.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Gunn, is AI writing that way not the same as Andy Warhol or Michelangelo touched it? Well, if you're writing stuff, preparing stuff for your home campaign, this is a great tool. Isn't that what Mr. Cox does at home? Mr. Cox says that he uses AI to prepare adventures. Isn't that the great thing? Is Ginny D AI? Mike, all right. See, now we should be bringing Mike in. So one of the stories that have been going around is
Yeah.
that Ginny is now doing games for money, for cash, and she got paid 5,000 to run a game, and then had a
Yeah.
panic attack. That was her posting about it. She had a panic attack. So I can understand if somebody is going to pay you a week's salary, and I'll call 5,000 a week salary.
I'd call
A
that more than
a very nice week's salary, but we'll call it a week's salary or a month's salary, whatever, to do and run a game session for 4 or 5 hours. Yes, that's a lot of pressure. But you should have thought about that before you agreed to the gig.
Mm-hmm.
I have no sympathy for anybody who puts themselves in that situation. I have no sympathy for any of these influencers on YouTube that got caught up in this uh, 10, 10 set, not 10, not the company that was, not the Chinese company. This is the Russian front company that was apparently paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to vidcasters to influence what they talked about. I don't have sympathy for anyone that gets caught up in that. So if you're taking money to run games and then you have a panic attack about it, well, you should have had that panic attack before you fucking took the cash.
That's true.
No,
You need to have like a heart to heart with yourself, or just really sit down. Do I really want to do this?
is it worth
Can
it?
I really do this?
Right. Am I remember too, Ginny is not a lifelong gamer. All right. She came into this a couple of years ago.
Well, you all got to start somewhere.
Right. But she came into it likely with the idea of being an influencer. God bless her for doing that with his money. God bless you. But the reality is there are pressures involved. Anything that involves making money is going to have, or creativity is going to have pressure.
Hey,
Especially
you're right. Yeah. You better get Mike in here before he gets any more of a pervert.
Mike, you getting to be a private?
Yeah.
I thought you said something else, Mr. Gunn.
Get him on here so he can incriminate himself in person.
Oh, Robert, I used AI to create with JavaScript a maze and monster and adventure generation machine. It can roll characters, simulate combat, generate quests, allocate XP score. It's almost done. I love this thing when it's running, Rob. Just let you know. And to be fair, she didn't need to relate what happened to her. No, she didn't. That's certainly true. But it's a group learning experience. There's a reason why listen. I know people like to go around. I don't take money for my game mastering because that sells the game. No, we don't take money for game mastering because when you put cash into the process, here, do you have sex for money? Right? When you participate in the act of sex, sorry, Glenn, we're gonna we should have Mike for this one. You participate in that because it's an enjoyable experience, right? If you're getting paid for it, your expectations and expectations of your partner are going to be different, right? So that's that can make you anxious too. I don't see much of a difference personally. And I'm not saying that running a game for money is prostitution, but there's a similarity to it. There, it's apples to oranges, not apples to, I don't know.
I am on record as saying I can be bought.
Well, there you go.
Unfortunately, what you're buying is my unvarnished opinion.
Oh, yes. So you get what you pay for, but you don't get a choice. You don't get a choice.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I've got to maintain some dignity. But hey, you can ask Marquis Toga. Why did I think of Bad Mike when he said Toga?
We are all was. Well, that's true to an extent, right? I mean, if somebody offered you $100,000 a week to have some control over your YouTube channel, most people would jump at that opportunity, not ask you many questions, right?
Oh
Nobody's
dear.
offering me $1,000 a week or $100 a week, but
True.
I'd still ask a lot of questions because
Look, yeah.
I don't want to be beholden to anyone.
Well, as my stance is always like, pay DMing, nice work if you can get it. I know I can't get it, but
Yeah,
more power
but
to you. You can do it. You know.
well, but here's the thing too: when you're a paid DM, you're held to a different standard.
I understand. Okay? It's like a job. Yes,
it's like a job.
It,
You better give 110%.
You are a subcontractor or a contractor.
Or
that's what you're contracted to do this thing. So again, it's the same thing. I mean,
yeah. I'm not saying I have an issue with it. I'm saying that once you start getting paid for something, it becomes a responsibility. Listen, I run games with my friends. When I run a game at a convention, I approach it differently than when I run it for my local gaming group, right? At a convention, you paid for the privilege to be there. There's a certain expectation. So I got to make sure it's going to run in a certain amount of time, that the game doesn't end in an hour and 20 minutes and we're all just eating Cheetos. You got to make sure that you're going to get your money's worth.
Well, you know what?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? I used to go. It doesn't happen at North Texas unless you do the, $5 a seat before you release the
right.
Before that, I used to go to cons where the con would charge you a few bucks to get in the game. I mean, it wasn't like when they release them or anything. It's just that you pay to play. And I never GM'd a game at those cons because I thought that's more pressure on me because these people are at my table paid for me to run a game for them. And so it's very similar to being a paid DM or GM rather.
Yeah. But the more you're getting paid, the more pressure there is on you. Paid $5,000 for an appearance.
Yeah.
Unless you have a lot of confidence in your ability. Listen, if you're I don't know, Tim Kask, sure, whatever. That's not going to phase him, right? He'll do it. What he always does.
Yeah.
But if you're Ginny D, then it becomes if I don't give them a $5,000 game, then I'm a fraud.
Then you got to figure. Well, then you got to figure out what is a $5,000 game.
I don't know.
What is it? Yeah. I mean, how much is your prep worth? How much is your being there running it worth? How much effort you put into it?
I know of people who make $150, $200 a session running for a group, and they do. Usually, this involves like groups to form at like business locations, and they find a professional DM. That's great, and then some people can make a bit of a living off this. That's great.
Yeah,
5,000, I would panic myself, and I've never been paid to DM. I wouldn't want the pressure.
I saw the title, but I didn't see the video. I'm assuming it's some kind of corporate thing because they're the kind of people, maybe it's a corporate function they want her to run a game.
I heard something about, and I didn't watch the video either, but supposedly I heard she was going to be running a game at a castle in Scotland or England.
Oh, is it
one of those fields? Yeah.
Guy Schlanders. Yes. How to Be a Great GM. He's always running D&D in a castle.
So I think that's what it was about. Don't quote me on that, folks. I didn't watch the video either. It just came across my feed. I was like, Brent, if you ask ChatGPT for adventure ideas, are you just letting it roll on the random encounter?
One last thing I want to say about that.
Yeah.
If she's having a panic attack because she's running in a castle, and if he hired her, I don't see what I mean. That would have taken the pressure. That would have taken the pressure off to me, because he runs games too.
Glenn, I apologize. Bad Mike's been my notifications are off on Facebook, because otherwise they go off constantly. So Mike's been pestering me.
Oh, let the SOB on. Come on.
But no, it's not running on random charts. It's not. It goes beyond that. Yeah. It goes beyond that. Your appearance DM fees for someone so inexperienced. Well, you know what? You just used a word in your sentence that will tell you why she was getting paid well. Her appearance. Okay, she is a known quantity, not for being a DM, but for being a personality.
Yeah, there you go.
Not just another pretty face like Bad Mike.
Okay, the third pervert is on here.
I died. Wait a second. That would make me a pervert.
Catch on quick, don't you? All these people are entertained tonight. It's great.
Okay. So I have the story here. If you want to the story of this.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you remember somebody that used to be called Satine Phoenix? I know you remember.
Oh yes.
So there's
from normal people, 10-foot radius. Yes.
There's a castle in the UK, and every year they have this special event where they literally charge about $3,000 a seat, and you go there and you stay in the castle. Now, stay in the castle is another. It's like the nicer you stay in, you can end up paying about $8,000. These are for the upper crust celebrity rich gamers. These are not for people like us. And nobody listening to this show. This is not us. This is for the upper thing. So when they go to this castle, they stay for it's like 6 days or something. And they run they have like 3 or 4 DMs. These are all celebrity DMs, and they run games.
Oh yeah.
And so the good thing about the celebrity DM, what's cool is they get this room for free. They get to stay there and have it free and everything. So the year that Satine got 86th, her and Jameson, that was what, 3 years ago, Eric? 2 years ago? Whenever they had their wedding at Gary Con, I don't remember what year that was.
Oh God,
2023? No, 2022, I think.
2022.
Yeah, because I was there last year. Yeah, 2022. So all the stuff broke about Satine, right?
Right.
And so she got disinvited from the gaming scene because she wasn't paying her workers. She's just a miserable human being.
People.
Yeah. So what happened was Jenny was a last minute fill-in. So they had Satine and Jameson were going to go to the castle. This is what they lost by being dickheads. They were going to go to the castle. They were going to run games, and it was going to be really cool. And they got booted, and so she was a last minute addition. So of course she's going to say yes, because who wouldn't, right? If any of us are invited to a castle in Britain, and whatever, and basically the $5,000 is everything. She didn't just get a check for $5,000. This was plus the fee for being able to stay at the castle for free, which is, like I said,
right.
Some of the rooms there are $3,000 a night. So it's a castle.
All expenses paid.
And I believe her and her boyfriend, I can't remember at the time, they also spent time touring. So they turned it into like a European vacation that they went and did stuff.
Very nice.
Anyway, so this is the last. I'm relying on my memory from like a year ago, watching her videos or something. So anyway, she was a last minute fill in. So she went up there and did it. And this is just, these are for people who they're not paying. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. So First North Texas, we had we invited Frank Menser, Tim Kask, Jaquays, Dennis Astaire, and Rob Kuntz. And so Rob Kuntz came, and Rob Kuntz is an idiosyncratic human being. He he is what they call a foundationalist, a naturalist. So if you're in a dungeon and you're running around and he's rolling and nothing's happening and he's rolling random encounters and you don't get a random encounter, he does not give you a random encounter. He believes in the dungeon runs the way the dungeon runs. And so a lot of people don't like that style because you could be walking around a dungeon for an hour and not doing anything because he's not going to throw an encounter at you. If you don't run into the room that has the encounter, or if he doesn't roll on the dice if there's a random encounter, you don't have anything happen. And the group that came with them, they had about a 2 hour stretch where nothing happened. They're just running through this castle and they're getting lost. And the mappers quit. Right. 2 of the mappers quit, and it just got crazy. And they're grumbling because nothing's happening. And Rob's like, yeah, you're just not running anything. So that's not how I run. I run that, okay, I want you to gauge you, whatever. But he's old school.
Right.
So we had somebody the second year who came. They played the Rob Kuntz game. And they, after the convention, they complained about it. They said, hey, man, I just wanted you to know I'm really pissed off. I came to your convention specifically to play in Rob Kuntz's game, and it was not a good game. And I was promised a good game with Rob Kuntz. And I said, no, you were not.
You were promised
a game with Rob Kuntz. You were not, nothing good. Nothing was said it's going to be good, bad, different, or whatever. It's only what you brought the experience. All you were promised is a game with Rob Kuntz. So I'm going to turn that into this. All these people, all they were promised is you're going to have a game and a celebrity is going to be running the game. And they don't know necessarily who it is because they don't care. They're going for the whole ambiance, the experience, right, the food, the staying in the castle, the beautiful landscape. I mean, they don't care if it's Jenny D, if it's Glenn, if it's, Glenn Close, you're running the game. I mean, they don't care. If it's me and Glenn Close, running a game together.
That I would like to see.
I would too, actually. They're just going to see to this. So the fact that Jenny D was there, it wasn't a big deal because they were just like, oh, celebrity, oh, Jenny D, yeah, she's whatever influencer on TV or on whatever. So the fact that she thought she had pressure on her, I think, is a little misleading because not only did she have a great time running the game, guess what? She's publishing the game she ran as a purchasable module on her website.
Oh,
so she turned this into a money opportunity. So I'm not saying, okay, I'm not going to say this is a clickbait headline to get us all to click it, but I'm going to say it was a clickbait headline to get people to say it because
it was aliens.
They have been a little nervous, but they didn't care what she was going to do. I don't think because she's all dressed up in costume. She's got the elf ears and doing all her stuff, and that's all these people are going for. They're just going for the experience. Right. To have a game. Nobody said it's going to be a good game, bad game, a different game, whatever. They're just going to play it. So that was her deal. And so I think a lot of that headline's clickbaity because look, she's going to make money off this now because she's going to publish it as a.
Oh yeah.
I think it was a 3. They run adventures. It's like her and 2 other. It's like 3 DMs and they run 6 adventures in all. And I think they may build on each other. I don't know how it works. So she had basically a 3-part adventure that she's going to publish now. Yahoo. So she turned it to a money-making opportunity.
Good for her.
To say, yeah, I mean, that's the way to do it. But this all goes to the whole thing you guys were talking about paying to be DMs. And when this first started, I remember, I mean, not surprising, who was against this? The grumpy old Grognard. Back in my day, we never paid for a day,
Right.
And look, it's like anything else. It's a job. If you want to be paid to it, and I'll tell you another story. When I first started buying and selling, trading RPGs online about 1994 or so.
1894.
Thank you,
it seems like you've been
1994. By the way, that's my 30th year. My 30th year online doing game selling. Thank you. I got so much flack from people, and here's what they told me. You should not be marking up the price for old players' handbooks. You should be respecting the game and giving those out. You should buy them for $5 and sell them for $5. And you don't even make money on shipping.
Hey,
they didn't consider because at the time nobody was doing this, right? They didn't consider selling used gaming as an actual something you could do like a job or like work. They saw it as you're part of the community, and the community just gives back to people. So if you walk into Half Price Books and find a bunch of first edition models for $5, how dare you get online and sell them for $10? You need to sell them for what you bought. And I'm serious. They were serious about that. They became irate and inflamed and pissed off online. There's this guy, Bad Mike. He's selling players' handbooks for $20. Can you believe that? This guy is,
price. No, that's not.
And of course, now doing eBay, people sell everything. They sell anything and everything. It's no big deal. But that's just the gamer community.
You deserve to make a little profit off of it.
You would think, and as I'm saying this is like any profession that I would say is new. There's always these people that are going there and grumble, and of course, grumpy old grognards. Which look, I'm in the same demographic. I started playing in '78. I'm the same age. I'm just a little bit more flexible. The grumpy grognards, and Eric will tell you this too because he goes to conventions. They will bitch and complain about anything.
Oh yeah.
Anything. And so of course, when people came out and said, yeah, I'm going to run a game for people and I'm going to go. And so what a lot of these people do is, I read a big article about a guy online. He runs this is his full-time job. This is his full-time job. He runs up to 7 games a week. He won't run every night. Sometimes he runs 2, like the weekends, but he'll run a game a day, and he makes a living out of it. He does enough to make, I don't know, 50, 60,000 a year because he charges. Now, what he does is, though, he brings all the miniatures, he brings all the terrain. He doesn't just throw out a crappy old dirty. I mean, he has terrain, he has stuff, he has adventures that he's written. He doesn't run B1 or B2. He's running adventures he wrote that fit in good with a 3 or 4 or 5 hour style. And he's all, and this is what his job is. And so, yes, he's doing a function for people. And look, Glenn and Eric, the truth about this. I am the forever DM because my players are too fucking lazy to ever sit there and say, I'll DM a session. No, they want me to do it. I love to DM, though. I love to tell the story. I love to see what these idiots will happen to them. I love to see what trouble they're going to get into or how they're going to figure stuff out. So I like to do it. But it is very hard to find the DM because you have the one person that has to know all the rules and has to do all the prep. And most people just want to show up, roll dice, slim some dice, drink a beer, and have a good time.
Nothing wrong with that, really.
No. And so there's nothing wrong with somebody saying, look, I'm going to take all that responsibility away from you. You just show up. I'm going to bring the terrain. I'm going to bring the miniatures. I'm going to bring the game. And not only that, I have a reputation for running a pretty damn good game because, once again, as you guys know, there's good DMs and bad DMs. I've had both. I've had people like, dear God, please let this end. Let this end now. Like after an hour at the table, you're like, my God. Can I do the, oh my God, I got a phone call. My mom's sick. Oh yeah. I gotta go. And then you run off, I mean,
I've been in games like the last few years where I actually, Becky's at home. I texted Becky and say, please call me. And she'd call me and I'd take it. And she, what? Oh man. All right. And on the other end, she's going, what the hell are you talking about? Why did I have to call you? And it's like, something's wrong with the dog. We have to go. I have to go. One of the grandkids is doing something. I have to go. Thank God for cell phones.
So for somebody to take all that responsibility away from you, where you don't have to worry about it, that is worth paying, I don't know, $25 an hour, $30 or whatever they charge. Right. Like I said, this guy was making a living. He's making, pretty good bucks on it. But it was a job. I mean, the way he talked about it is I could work up to 7 days a week. That's what he was saying. I usually only work 5 days. I'll work up, something like Tuesday through Sunday. And I take Monday, Tuesday off, work Wednesday through Sunday. And he said, and I've got people scheduled all week. I mean, I've got every night. I've got regular games. He's got regular games. He's got people that want to run once a month. And he's their once a month game. Let's say there's 10 people or whatever. They take up a collection. They all throw in, $5, $6, and he runs the game for them, all an hour, or probably more than that if he's paying.
Probably more. But and listen, again, I don't begrudge.
There's nothing wrong with that. I don't either. I don't begrudge that at all.
But again, when I make the comparison to, women of the night or and prostitution, when you're paying for it, you expect a certain service. When it is free, your expectations are, hopefully, if it's not a good time, I won't come back. All right. So, nobody wants buyer's remorse. Nobody wants to pony up. You're paying the guy at the group $200 for a game session, probably about the ballpark. And then everybody leaves going, "Wow, that fucking sucked." I mean, you don't want to be that guy that just ran it. And
no, you don't want buyer's remorse. No, definitely not.
No, you got to be.
But these people that do it for a living, they're good. That's why they do it for a living. It's like, and look, let me tell you something. DMing is like any other skill. The more you do it, the better you get at it. Sometimes when I've had a layoff of like maybe, heck, I've had a layoff before of like a year, where I didn't run a game. I'm not very good when I get back in the saddle. I'm rusty as hell. Now the game I'm running now, we've been running once a week like clock, or once a month like clockwork. I think I'm hitting a pretty good stride with this game.
Every year you want me to run a gangbusters game or something or like that, and every year I'm going now, I don't know, maybe I'm just going to not do it this year because that's the only time I get to run anymore.
Yeah.
I know my Monday group. No, we got too many people who want to run. I can't do it, and I don't have any other groups. So I feel when I get to the con, I feel real kind of rusty. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
It's like, am I going to pull this off this year? I don't know. Let's find out. I thought it was kind of ballsy to me last year to run it 3 times this last year.
But Glenn, the thing is, like, I only run at cons these days. I play.
You go to more cons.
But I all right, fine. But the thing is, again, running a game at a convention is different than running it as a campaign.
Well, yes, but running it.
I can improvise at a convention. My players aren't going to call me the next session and go, "Hey, wait a second. The bartender's name was Brutus last time. Now he's Popeye. What the fuck?" Well, I improvised that. I didn't write it down. When you're doing a single session that's a one-off, which is what conventions generally are, you don't have those issues. So I find them in some ways to be less stressful to run at a convention.
Yeah,
yes,
true. But
I get stage fright. I just mentioned in the chat. I get stage fright, but I don't get the oh man. I got to keep this. The momentum of the campaign going. No, I got to give an exciting single session, 3 or 4 hours. People will leave and be happy. One
of the things that Jenny says in her video, which is and I can understand this too, is because usually she says she doesn't run games for money. She's not used to this. So she just panicked because she's like, what if I'm not as good as the other DMs? What if I forget stuff? What if I don't entertain them? They expect me to be this giant, I'm larger than life, YouTube personality, and I get that.
They want her to be Matt Mercer,
right? And I get that, although I think a lot of that, once again, I think a lot of that's clickbaity because look, she's Jenny D. She's going to do a generally good job. I don't think she's going to fuck up too badly, and so she knows what she's doing. She runs games all the time. So I'm just saying this, so that's the thing that these guys get paid to DM, like Flint just said in there, he's paid for. I bet they don't. Flint doesn't panic. I don't panic when I run a game anymore. I sit down and I know where I'm at. I'm like, okay, I know where everything is. The only time I panic and I get really mad, and this has happened a handful of times over the past 10, 20 years, is when I sit down and can't find something. I can't find an NPC. I can't find a sheet of paper. And it infuriates me because I know it's here. I know it's here. It didn't fly away. It didn't go anywhere.
I don't even do that anymore. I just like, okay, I know what I want. I'll just wing it.
The worst Glenn. So my brothers and I were playing in a campaign years ago, and they live about 30 minutes away from me down south in the farther south Texas. And we were playing this campaign we've been running for years and years and years. There's a couple other guys, and I drive down to my brother's house and I set up and I forgot the character sheets.
Oops!
I had to get back in the car, drive all the way back home, 20 minutes. Find the sheets, which are right on the table. I just forgot to pick up and drive all the way back. And boy, did I get ripped when I got back because, 20 minutes down, then 20 minutes back, then 20 minutes on. That's an hour. I wasted an hour of valuable gaming time because I screwed up. That's the kind of thing I worry about. That's all I worry about. I worry about
I did something a couple of years ago I would have never done when I started GMing. Matt texted me saying, "Hey, I didn't really have time to prep this week. You want to run? You got anything to run?" And I went, "Well, wait a minute." And I looked over and says, let's learn how to play index card RPG. He said, "Great, go." I had nothing. I came up with the plot on the driving to his house. And that was like a 20-minute drive. When I got there a little early, did some notes, boom, let's go. And it was great. Everybody had a good time. Mm-hmm. So I would have never done that when I started.
So sometimes when I do a convention adventure, I get a little antsy because you always worry that one guy is going to be that's going to try to screw you over, like we were talking about the other night, Eric. You always afraid that one guy there is there to just basically throw a wrench in your game. And like when I ran B 1.5 this year at North Texas, I was so relaxed. You know why? I knew every single person in that game. It was Steve Getty's daughter. It was Kim George. It was John Lyle. It was Walter Janig. It was all these guys that come every year to the con. I knew every one of them, and we made a few jokes at the beginning, and I blah blah blah, ha ha, and then boom, we're off, and it went great because I knew everybody there. I wasn't worried anybody was going to screw this up or throw a wrench in it or just be an a-hole or whatever. And that's probably one worry I have running games at conventions because you don't pick your players. And you get a bunch of randos. You don't know if you're gonna get the one. I've seen a game. I was at Gamehole Con years ago. Eric probably went to this Gamehole Con because it's that far back. I was sitting there talking to people in a room that somebody else was running a Call of Cthulhu game, and there was one person at the table that was loaded to the point to where they were disrupting the entire game. Bad. I mean, because they were so drunk, they were shouting out inappropriate things they were going to do. I'm talking about stuff to get the whole party killed. What? Shub Nagurth? I run at Shub Nagurth with my shotgun and start unloading it. Woo! And okay, you come upon the cultists. There's 100 cultists, and they're sacrificing this. What? I get up and say woo-wee and fire my shotgun and run it. I mean, that kind of shit. Where everybody else is like, oh my God. Now the good thing was he died pretty quick. And he died really quick, and he went insane that he died, and then he fell aslead in the corner. He sat and he just passed out. That's how drunk he was.
I tell you what. Okay, go ahead.
No, I would say that's the kind of thing you always kind of worry about, right?
Oh yeah, I had one year at North Texas. I was in some kind of game where these two guys were running it, and they were promoting their thing, and they gave this and that. And one guy, it was 5 minutes in, he says, well, sorry guys, this is I gotta go. Next year he was in my Mutant Future game, and I said, hey, how you doing? I was wondering what was going on. He says, man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave you guys hanging. Just this one guy was just really bugging me, and I had to get out of there. I said, no harm, no foul, sit down. So so it's not always you behind the screen.
No, it isn't. I mean, I remember this would have been my bag of shit, but it wasn't because I had to work the table for Frog God. So James Spahn was running my game. Mm-hmm. And this was using the Mouth of Doom 3D terrain. Swords of Wizardry. And James is a better DM than me anyway. This group was blessed. But about 15 minutes into the session, James took a quick potty break to come to me and go, I have a guy at my table I want to kill.
I remember this. Yeah.
And I was like, James, and James is the nicest man. You're gonna.
Oh, I knew. By the way, this guy's now banned from the con. You know that, right? He's no longer. He's no longer. Yeah, he's no longer alive. The guy. No, not James. The guy who screwed James game. That James wanted to kick out of the game.
Yeah. This game, he was bitching about the terrain. He was bitching about the adventure. And nonstop complaining. So I was just like, if it was up to me, I would tell the guy to. I didn't know what the ground rules were, but we found Mike, and I believe Mike, explained to the guy that he wasn't welcome at the session, but I mean, I
And look,
remember.
to the guy's credit, he just was very surprised, and he just said, "Okay." He didn't argue. He just,
Yeah, but how did he get banned?
Because he was disrupting the game, and everybody. You cannot have one player sit at your table and ruin the fun of everybody else. And the problem is in our society, a lot of people in our society are they're too feel good. I don't want anybody to have a bad time, and they won't confront people like that because they're afraid of making a scene. And people like that count on it. They count on that. They count on that level of inaction, and so they will push and push and push. And all while this is happening, and I've seen this in Facebook groups. There's always one or two people that will push and push and push. And if they're not kicked out of the group, they will ruin the group. And they know this and they do it on purpose. It's just, I boot people preemptively strikes in Dork Texas group.
Well, that one guy had
this shit. I'm not having this shit at all.
One guy had to kick out of the Monday group, was doing that. He was driving other players crazy. Mm-hmm. And the straw that broke for me was the fact he's trying to peek behind my screen. That's a no-no. That was it. That was it. The next session, I said, "I'm sorry, you're going to have to leave."
I usually, I've had somebody at the table cheat with dice, and I approached him in a break, and said, "Man, I made it sound." I said, "Look, I just wanted you to know somebody said that you're messing with your dice, and I haven't seen it, but no, it's okay." And then he stopped doing it. He stopped doing it at that point. I was kind of letting him know I'm looking for it. He was basically, he had small dice you couldn't see the numbers on very well, and so he'd roll and say, "Oh my gosh, 18 or 16," or he'd be rolling stuff. And then somebody sitting next to him said, "Yeah, he's two people at the table said." I couldn't see it because I'm at the head of the table. They said, "Yeah, he's just giving you bullshit, bogus numbers." And I'm like, well, normally I probably wouldn't even say anything because all you're doing is ruining your own fun. But he's also ruining everybody else's fun because he's the one killing all the monsters because his damage was off the charts. He's rolling maximum damage every hit because he's locked. So then I just approached him in our break and said, "Hey, I just wanted you to know that somebody else was talking, saying something about your dice or whatever. I didn't see anything." He's like, "Oh, no, that's cool." But he stopped doing it after that. Then he rolled a few ones, for damage instead of rolling, max damage every single time.
Look at that. Another one.
But I mean, even that was disrupting everybody's fun because when somebody at the table is cheating, it takes all your fun away. Because like, well, no matter what I do, this guy's he's gonna hit every time and he's gonna kill the monster, and I'm sitting here missing and looking like a chump. But the worst people, like I said, the worst people are the people that question and this is the problem with James had with that guy. James is an amazing game master. I mean, I would play in a James Swan game any day of the week. So if he has a problem with you, you've really effed it up. You have really effed it up. And from what everybody else said too, they were also very much like, yeah, this guy was a real jerk, and he just kept questioning stuff, and he wouldn't play the right way. And James just didn't want to deal with him anymore. And Gary and I, or Doug and I can't remember. I think it was Doug and I guess. We said, "Yeah. You're a GM. You can kick somebody out of the game if you want, and you should be able to." And more people should do that, Glenn. The person who was disrupting your game, I give you kudos for that because there's a lot of people that say, "No, you should do whatever you can to get them back in and make sure that." No, you can't.
It's also because I have a really, really good group who knows not to pull that crap. But that was that was rare for me. Otherwise, sometimes I think I'm a pushover. So,
a pushover.
But I've been fortunate not to get those. It was rare when I got those people. Very rare.
I'm not a pushover, but my own players will try to push me, and they do it on purpose. Obviously, they're saying, and sometimes, look, I'll take into consideration. They'll say something like, "Okay, you failed your saving throw, you fall in the pit. Oh man, my dexterity is 18. Is there any way I could grab the side of the thing?" Okay, I look at that as, hey, you're trying to say, okay, I'll tell you what, we're gonna you didn't get a saving throw, so we're gonna give you a saving throw. Just roll a dex. If you roll a dex thing, you're fine and you're okay. But if you roll 19 or 20 or whatever, you're dead, you're gone. But if you roll under your dex, you're okay. I'll do that. But there's some players, especially, and this happens at cons a lot. They will argue every single decision and every single roll. And why did you do that? And all they're doing is ruin everybody else's fun, because everybody else just wants to sit and have a game of D&D. They don't want to sit there and listen to you going.
That's the dice. Suck it up. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. And that's why those people, I absolutely firmly believe, Glenn, you just have to tell, and especially even if it's a convention game, you have to tell them that this isn't going to work out. Look, the best time to do it is not do it at the table. Just call a break. Just say, okay, we need to have a break. Well, let's have a little break or whatever. And then during the break, approach and said, look, I hate to tell you this, man, but this is just not going to work out. You're just going to have to skedaddle on out of here. You're disrupting the party, and it's just not working out. And like I said, the person that James confronted, he was just like really surprised. Like it's almost like he didn't realize he was screwing the game up for everybody. But he left. He picked up his stuff and left. So I was like,
that's why he was banned. He did it one too many times.
Well, they're entertaining themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's really all they understand. I mean, it reminds me of an incident when I was in college, and it had nothing to do with gaming. It had to do with a creative writing class. And the teacher is reading out some of the better submissions, and he's reading this one, and I'm listening to it, and within like 5 seconds, I'm like, shit, I got that Hellblazer comic in my fucking book bag. I mean, I mean, everything. I was like, so, and I did. So it was a recent issue. I was like, and the teacher was very impressed with the story, and I was like, I hate to be the rat, but I hung out at the end of class. I went, I mean, that story you read out is here. I said to him, listen, this is a creative writing class. We are all here to better our skills, to learn our skills, not to impress others. So what's this guy? He's winning nothing by submitting work that he plagiarized from a comic book. You're not. What are you going to get? A kudos, a good score? I mean, that's dude. I got to impress. My D&D character has bad luck. That's part of the story. I'll roll with it. I'll enjoy it. I'll have fun. If he has good luck, there are times when I've been in sessions, especially at conventions, where my dice are going so well that I actually fudge my rolls as a player to start missing. It's like I can't be hitting this often because I want everybody to get into the action and enjoy themselves.
Yeah. I get, as a GM, I don't punish players for outthinking me or outthinking the opponent, because there have been times when they did that, and I had to take a moment to figure out what's he going to do now, because I'm just going like everybody else. I'm going, whoa. And I'm the guy who has to come up with something. Okay, well, that kind of thing. Yeah.
You want to hear a story about somebody that understands that? So I have DM'd Errol Otis twice at North Texas. My honor to do that twice in the BX game. And you know what he played both times? He played a cleric, garden variety, vanilla cleric. And he told me, he goes, I just kind of want to watch everybody. I just want to heal people that get in trouble. He did not. He knew he was going to be the biggest celebrity at the table, which obviously he was. Look at my kid; she is a beast tonight. So he knew he was going to be the biggest celebrity at the table. He did not want the tension on himself, because that Arrow is a cool dude, and he was just like, I'm just going to play a cleric. And that's exactly what he did. He ran around healing people and making sure everybody else had a good time, making sure they didn't, come down. He just turned undead when he had to turn undead. But I just thought that was really cool that he was like, yeah, I'm just going to be, I just want to be along for the ride. I just want to see what everybody else does. I want everybody to have a good time. I want it to be a great story. And, I just want everybody to enjoy themselves. And I just thought that was really cool. And that is a good player that wants everybody else to enjoy themselves.
Oh, by the way, John, I'm glad you got your stuff. You're going to love it.
Yep.
You just got his Arduino stuff. The maps.
He's all home run.
Yes. Man. So, and I wanted to, so that was, we talked about that, but I also want to say something about AI. And this is look, it's going to be more. It's going to be more and more pertinent to what we're doing, to our game, to everything we're doing. because as time goes on, AI is going to become more and more intuitive about writing games and figuring out what people want, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And here's the deal. Look, if somebody wants to use AI, I don't have any problem with that. That's not that's whatever. Because if you know anything about AI, if you have AI write a story, you have got to edit that story.
Oh, hell yes.
We've all seen AI stories that are unedited. They're ludicrous. They're unintentionally ridiculous. They do all kinds of goofball things. They don't make any sense.
Unless it's my game, then it's intentionally ridiculous.
But so you have to edit it anyway. And where does the AI end and the man begin? Because if I take let's say I take L1 Secret of Bone Hill, and I'm like, man, I love this module, but I don't like this part. I don't want there to be gnolls in the woods. I want it to be bugbears. When they get to the castle, there's this nasty wraith below, but he drains levels, and I don't want my third level thief to get knocked out of first level, which really happened to me in a game, by the way, many years ago. My poor third level halfling thief got knocked into first level. So I'm going to make it a instead of a wraith, it's going to be it's going to be a ghoul. So it's going to be zombies. And so at what point am I running L1? I'm still running L1, right? I'm using the maps, and I'm using some of the stuff, but I've changed up the names of the players. I've changed the gods because, I run my own, everything I run is in my own campaign world. So I have my own pantheon. I don't use Greyhawk gods or Fret Rose. So at a certain point, I'm just using the map and I didn't write the map because I'm terrible at maps. I don't like to do maps. I'd rather just repurpose a map. The same with AI. What point is the AI written the adventure? At what point have I changed it so much that thank you, AI, for giving me an idea, but basically I took your idea and I ran with it and I made something completely different.
Well, yeah, I got it. You got to, as far as the AI goes, you got to treat it like a plot hook. There's the hook. Do something with it. Same thing. Even if it's all stood out, you go through it and it's like, put your own stamp on it. That's the whole point. I mean, it'll cut your prep time down. And that's a good thing. But
I mean, Mike, if you're rewriting an adventure for yourself to use, that's great. You're not publishing it, right? You're not taking your L1 and publishing it. People are trying to publish their AI work and get money off it. That's when it becomes an issue.
But here's the thing, Eric. It's shitty. If you read AI, if they're not editing it, which a lot of them aren't editing it. I see some of the stuff that's out there. It's not edited. It's shitty. And look, you're going to get fooled one time. You're going to buy this AI book that sounds great once. You're going to read it and say, man, that was off. That just didn't make any sense. And you're not going to buy their shit again. It's like anything else. You remember the comic books back in the 60s, 70s, 80s? They had the ads in the back for X-ray specs and stuff. Right. And then people were like, ooh, $2 for X-ray specs. I could see through girls' dresses at school. I'm going to buy some X-ray specs. And they buy them. And of course, they don't see through girls' dresses. You only do that one time. You do that once and you're not buying X-ray specs every other week to like, oh, I need to buy some more. The first ones I got just didn't work. I can't see through Mary Bell's dress, in 12th grade, athletics because the X-ray specs aren't working. So it's the same thing with AI stories.
Yeah, you're gonna on you.
You're gonna buy one of these. It's gonna sound good. Oh, an AI written adventure sounds cool. And you're gonna say, I could have done that. What was interesting about that? Nothing. It was a random map, random adventure. I could have rolled up on a random chart and come up with that. That was a waste of my time. And so you're gonna do it a couple times. That's it. And then you're gonna go back to okay, I'll just use something published by professionals. Or I'll write something myself. So, look, I don't really have a problem with it because I'm a big believer in the market figures itself out with anything. I mean, I don't believe in price controls. I think the market comes down to earth for look, if everybody online is charging $65 for first edition player handbook, I'm going to roll in there and charge $60 because I want to sell my copy and I want to let them all fight over the scraps. That's right. So I have no problem with price controls like that. I'm not the person that says no. You shouldn't be able to charge $65 for the player's handbook. That's wrong. And a lot of that, like for instance, if you notice the new 5e handbooks came out, people grabbed their copy at Gen Con, they ran home and put it on eBay for $150 because I got one first. And people were complaining about it. Why? Look, you don't need to have that handbook. And if somebody really wants to pay $150, that's fine. That's their money.
Mhm.
I'd say that's a waste of money since the book's going to be available in a month or 2 months.
A
But
waste
I
of
don't
money.
have any problem. Yeah, why would I have a problem with somebody doing that? I think it's stupid. I think you're dumb for spending that kind of money.
And
But
how much
nobody's
AI
gonna
art
do
is
it.
in? And how much AI art is in that book?
Supposedly none, but I don't know. I guess who
You
knows?
never know Hasbro.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, they have their problems with it, so you never know. I still, as far as AI goes, like I said, I treat it like a plot hook. I got the raw material. Let's see what else I can do with it.
Yeah.
Which is the part of the fun. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, look. There is enough published material out there for every edition that you would never have to write a word for the next. You could run a game a day for the next 20 years and never have to reuse anything. And so, look, you don't need to have an AI write an adventure. Just grab something off your shelf, change it up a little bit. Grab a Dungeon magazine. Dungeon magazine has five adventures edition.
I got on PDF. I can always yank one of those.
The spell jamming adventure that you didn't think you could use, change it to seafaring adventure. Oh wait, it works now. Oh, it does work. That kind of thing. You can do so much with the stuff we have. You don't need AI writing your adventures. If you're, and look, if somebody wants to make money doing crappy AI adventures, I just don't have a problem with it. People aren't going to buy your stuff after a while. It's not good.
I've got almost a full shelf of old Judges Guild. You don't think I don't yank one of those out every once in a while and rework them? Oh yeah.
I pulled this the other day. I got this a few years ago. Broadsword. It is a book of 5 adventures. Now look at the trade dress. It's very much like Dungeon Magazine. It looks exactly like Dungeon Magazine.
Yes.
And it's 5e. Well, guess what? There's an adventure here. It's a mine. It's got a bunch of goblins in it. Well, guess what? I'm running a bunch of dwarven adventurers that are looking for a sidetrack. I went ahead and rewrote the adventure for the goblins.
Well, I'll tell you.
For dwarves, because it was 5e, so you can use about anything. Just grab something and just change it up. There you go.
I started my Judges Guild. I don't want to go through that story, but the reason I bought them is this is during the D20 335 era. And it's like, nobody knows these. They're all new again. I could throw this to my players with very little tinkering, and they'll just go, wow, that's great. I say, yeah, it's been published a long time ago. I don't have to always steal from movies.
No?
And then believe me, I have stolen from movies before. Real Bravos turned up into my fantasy campaigns more than once.
Well, Yojimbos happened to me a bunch where we're going to take over the town. No, we're going to take over the town. The players are like, okay, we're going to get them to kill each other.
There was a dragon. There was a dragon module in its anniversary issue that was exactly like that. Exactly like that. It had to do with 2 dragons and 2 factions, and the players were supposed to play both sides against the middle. It was great.
I'm sorry, I said it's Yojimbo. That's right. I think that's the
Yojimbo.
Yeah.
Did you know did you know Kurosawa tried to sue Leone over a fistful of dollars?
I heard. Yeah, I remember that story. Yes.
Yeah. He said you made a great movie, but you made my movie.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, look, there's only like what Glenn, 10 ideas in the whole world, and so every most movies, especially spaghetti westerns, they're pretty much the same.
You ever seen that supplement, the big book of plots, and it lists, I forget which book, I think it was the toolbox stuff, where they listed like, here's the 36 plots that everybody uses. That's all there is. 36, main plots. So it's the same thing. But
absolutely, yeah. And so I think that's funny when people do that, because like I said, I always thought the lawsuit that Star Wars had against Battlestar Galactica was dumb, because I mean, really, they're both science fiction, but they're nothing alike. The plot lines, and remember, if you remember, Battlestar Galactica lost that lawsuit. That they were judged as, yep, you copied Star Wars, and you're going to have to pay damages. And you look at it now, you're like, what? It doesn't have
Kurosawa could have sued Lucas for taking with the hidden fortress.
Hidden Fortress,
which basically the prototype for New Hope. So yeah. So what comes around goes around, I guess. What's old is, like he said, what's old is new again. Yeah, see, that's something that new GMs don't get. A lot of times they're waiting for the next hardback venture to come out for 5e, and it's like, why are you wasting your time? Write something yourself or look on the shelf and try and, do it that way. You know how many game books I have with tons of plot hooks in them? Tons. Get those the Hexcrawl Chronicles.
Oh, they're good. They're available by
plot hooks on the hoof.
I read an adventure once, real quick. I read an adventure once, and it's a one shot. The players are playing it, and halfway through, the guy looks up. He says, "Oh my God, this is Heart of Darkness." And I was like, it took you that long to get it because they were going, but there was a general of the elves that had disappeared, and they thought that he was running in the hills, and he had brought all these creatures to him. He was planning to attack the elven village and this, that, and so they're there and they're going this, that. They're like, oh, halfway through, they're like, this is Heart of Darkness. We're going after Kurtz. I said, there you go. You got it. Like, oh, we didn't see it first.
It's Apocalypse Now in fantasy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Glenn mentioned the Hexcrawl Chronicles. That was John Slaughter, right? He did that with
John Stater. Yeah, John Stater.
Sorry.
Yeah.
If you go to the link on the bottom of the screen, tenkarks-tavern.game/Gygax, that's one of the PDF sets. All 6 or 7 in PDF are available, in addition to a ton of gaming material for now. I don't know whether they are for Pathfinder or for Swords of Wizardry. There is stuff for Swords of Wizardry, Call of Cthulhu, 5e, 3e, Castles and Crusades. You'll find a little bit of everything. Supports the channel. Yeah, that's the whole pitch. The whole pitch.
There you go. Well, I'm glad I could be of service. Really.
And by the way, John Stater has an excellent magazine called Nod, N-O-D, Nod.
Oh my God!
Every single issue has a hex crawl, and not just a hex crawl. It's like 50 pages long. The guy, I don't even know what he's saying. It's crazy.
It's a campaign.
That's like the old Judges Guild, like Pegasus and stuff. They'd put practically a whole big module in the middle of the magazine.
Yep.
And you're paying what, $5 for the magazine? You get this whole module, or supplement or something. It's incredible. I didn't know he did Nod.
Yep.
How many?
James Stater did Nod.
I mean, that's.
I stopped collecting them about 30 or 40 because I realized I had more material than I could ever use in my entire life on Earth. Because these hex crawls, seriously, they're
that's my whole collection.
50 pages long. They're like 40, 50 pages long, and each hex crawl has probably 100 encounters. All you have to do is you can take those encounters and port them to your own campaign. And I was just like,
I like the hex crawl where they give you a good 150 hexes, but they only detail about half of them or a third.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about Arduin. I'm reading Vaults of the Weaver right now. Someday I'll get finished so I can do a review. But I was reading the dungeons, like, oh wow, there's a lot of rooms in these dungeons, but they only give you like 12 rooms worth of encounters.
Yeah, that's very old school. Yeah, it's very old school.
And then the back of the dungeon, they give you a chart of traps that you can sprinkle everywhere. And it's like, I forgot all about that. Why don't more people do that when they publish? When they publish this stuff, it seems like every time I see a module in the last 5 years or so, they've got to outline every single room in the dungeon.
Well, Glenn, here's the deal. So, Ruins of Undermountain is one of my favorite publications ever because it's cool. It's just this giant mega dungeon, and they leave 3/4 of the rooms empty. They got so many complaints back in the day, Glenn, because I paid $20 for a box set and 3/4 of it isn't even written up. This is highway robbery. I'm like, they did it because you're not supposed to be an idiot. You're supposed to stick your own adventures in those and
It's
all
like,
those empty
dude,
rooms.
look at the map. Look at the
I
map.
know,
Look what you're getting. I mean, it's
but
like
people complain about it. They complained about it, man. They bitched
I
about
remember what from first to second edition Forgotten Realms, they said at first edition they're saving this area here for the GMs who want to do something, and then the next edition they took it away from them. Do you want them to do that again?
I mean, you're right. I agree with you. You don't have to fill in every blank, but people they felt ripped off that Under Mountain didn't detail every single room. I mean, and I'm not talking about random people in our hobby that you would respect normally. You're like, yeah, that was a ripoff, man, because they didn't even describe Three Fourths of the room. I was like, well, I just stuck in my own adventures. I mean, wouldn't you just do that?
Yeah,
that's not why I paid $20. That's, by the way, that's how long.
Sometimes I think $20. Sometimes I think there's a good portion of our hobby that's lazy, and I'm talking GM here. I'm not talking about players. You know,
I agree with you, sir. I agree with. Or they just maybe they're not lazy, Glenn. They just like bitching about everything, and they just want to bitch. And I've had Facebook groups like that I had to leave, and I'll admit this. They're inordinately old school groups, and I've had to leave them because I am tired. It's just bitch about everything. It's not just bitching about fifth edition, bitching about everything.
When I do Thaco's Hammer, Brian, who's still active on Dragon's Foot, I get stories from him about who he has to argue with and all this other stuff.
It's probably the same people I argued with 20 years ago on Dragon's Foot. They haven't changed.
Probably. And now they're the ace at the AC. Yes.
They're still bitching about the same thing.
Are you still?
I still go there. Oh yeah, I go there. Yeah, I go there all the time. Yeah, I post.
I've been there a long time.
Maybe about a week.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Did you? Thank you, Ren C, for that incredible. Boy, he popped up at the wrong time just when I was saying that old school grognards are idiots. He's like, "Yeah, man, D&D's so woke now." Yeah, so much bitching. Yeah.
Oops.
I did. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I was on. By the way, I do have a subscription to Scribd.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. There you go.
How much stuff I can get off of there. But I didn't know there is somebody did a Spelljammer supplement for Old School Essentials.
Oh, really? I don't know. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
I know you're a fan, so I thought I'd tell you.
Yeah, I'll check that out definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, AI, boy.
Well, here's one.
Boy, that AI. Ooh, yeah. Ooh.
The Internet Archive, I believe, took a hit this week in court. So, because their excuse for doing these digital backups is that we're lending, and we all know you can get complete runs of Dragon Dungeon, probably every other zine or zine out there.
Remember how Internet Archive got kind of in trouble the first time they put all Dragon magazines up there?
Well, it got taken down too, didn't it? At the time, I think it was taken down.
They may still be up there. I don't know. I think
they're still available without much of a search. I'm not sure if Internet Archive, but somebody else has them.
Yeah.
I won't link them, but if you can do a Google, you can find this stuff pretty easy.
If you know how to work a torrent, you have no problem.
Well, torrents,
holy shit, they still have torrents.
I didn't think I got all my MST3K episodes.
I stopped doing torrents when my neighbor locked down their wires. Did I say that?
Oh, you.
I'm joking. Well, I think that we have reached our witching hour.
Jenny like TTRPG and their Jenny D, the queen of TTRPG and her complaints. Oh.
Yeah, we were talking about somebody talked about hentai, and I said we already talked about Jenny D. So there we go.
Oh, okay.
Jenny was in her early and her blue hair.
Yeah, we never run out of conversations because all we have to do is say Jenny D. And
By the way, and I'm not a hater. I look, anybody that makes money off D&D, if you get people to pay for whatever you're doing, more power to you. So, I mean, I wish Eric and I were cutesy and we could dress up in costumes and have 1.3 million people, but we just can't pull it off. So,
well,
no,
I know.
Well, I could pull it off, Mike, if you want me. Oh no, you're talking about that. All right. I was just wondering.
I have yet to do this show without my shirt on, so go for it.
thank you, and Glenn, we respect and love you for that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh well, then.
Oh no! Wait! Hold on.
Let's not go that far, gentlemen.
That's all right. That's all right.
So,
It's good talking to you, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on, Glenn. I appreciate it because my girl Jenny was getting savaged. I had to jump in and defend her. So.
Oh come on.
She was savaged or ravaged?
It's not a good look. Not a good look.
I'm just saying.
Not a good look. The old grognard.
Yeah, Rents. We start the show at 8 p.m. Eastern. So yeah.
Sorry, man. We're running up an hour. This is an hour and a half, baby. It's almost 2 hours.
My goal every time is always how long can I extend this show?
So quick notes. Gamers Health, which is normally Saturdays from 8 to 9, will be Sunday 8 to 9 because we will be at a wedding. And it's a member of my gaming group from high school and college is getting married for the first time.
Wow.
So,
whoa.
Yeah.
How old is said person? How old is said individual, by the way?
I think John's 51, 52. He's the youngest.
Whoa, okay. Well, it's never too late to get your life beaten down by a wife. I mean, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. It's never too late to be happy.
So,
it's never be happy.
Hey, we're in our Becky and I are in our later 60s, and Monday we finally close on our first house. So,
Congrats. Oh, and by the way, I have the computer up here, but the office is going well. It's all cleaned out. We've repositioned the furniture. We're going to get the flooring done next week. I hope to be doing these videos from our office in 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks.
Cool. You will have to come on. I'd like to see that.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm going to have artwork. It's going to have shelves.
I got a new piece of furniture. Got the rest of my DVDs and Blu-rays in here. It's all
right.
Beautiful. I need a TV. I need a TV back there.
So, other administrative notes. If you're watching this channel, you may see a change with the layout of the videos as I experiment with other services.
Keep us posted.
I heard about this. Yeah.
StreamYard is basically ravaging you in the asshole without a reach around. They are.
Why are they? What is the deal? What is going on with this?
And they're hiding it. If you look online, they talk about their new plan. By the way, their new plan, so they can't say they're raising their rates because you're being forced into a new plan. So they're not raising the rates. They're introducing a new plan.
It's a new
but
plan.
with no prices on it. But the lowest price of a new plan is now $45, where it used to be $20.
Oh, so they're not raising your price. They're just, it's like you can keep your doctor, but you can't keep your doctor. Yes.
Right.
We're not raising your price, but there's a new plan here, and the new plan is going to be a little more expensive. But we're not raising your price. We're not going to raise your price.
Can't do that. No.
I'm subscribed to StreamYard at the current price until I think the first week of December, but I hope to have a new solution before the month is out. So we shall expect to see some changes.
I know, and I know most of you people probably don't know it, but I thought I'd say this because this is the last show before it happens. This Tuesday, if you know him, please wish Gage a happy 21st birthday.
Oh my God.
Wow. That little guy's 21. I can't believe it.
Yep. And he's coming next year. I'm going to hold a gun if he doesn't. Hold a gun to his head if he doesn't.
All right.
We're both getting a free ride. You're going to be there.
There you go.
I just got to buy a badge for his girlfriend. That's all. So
there you go.
Anyway, so Thankos Hammer, Radio Grognard, Mike,
North Texas RPG Con.
Yep.
Tenkar
Next con, I'll be at. I checked today. I have a room at Game Hole. I will be at Game Hole. Anybody going to Game Hole? I will be at Game Hole. And 2 weeks after that, I will be at Long Con. So that's my convention fall.
I couldn't make the bus. I couldn't make
Game
the
Hole
bus.
and Long Con.
I'm going to see Eric. I couldn't make the bus.
There you go.
Yeah, I think we might have to cancel the bus. It's one of those things where everybody thought it was a great idea, and then only maybe 10 people signed up. Like, we don't need to hire.
Hey, Mike, did you hear that October I'm going to go be visiting this guy here?
I listened to it. Yeah, I'm so jealous, and I'm bummed. I wish I could fit the time in. I would show up there too.
It was something that just like it was in. I opened my big mouth, and next thing you know, I'm buying a plane ticket. So,
man, look, Glenn, you got to do it now, man. We're not.
Well, what happened was
we're not guaranteed to borrow. We're not.
I know, but Jason, here's what happened. Jason, we were talking, and Jason's always my group. I don't like playing in this group this way because his system sucks. He has to use, Discord. He doesn't know how to use it. One camera pointing to the table, if I'm lucky. But basically, they said, we want you to run a game. We want you to run a game. And says, well, I got one condition. I do it in person. And next thing I know, I'm visiting Vason. I'm visiting Eric. Okay, whatever. So
I think it sounds great. Look, my wife and I were hoping to go to ShireCon this year. It fell through.
He'll be there.
Our vacation budget was devastated by my wife spending a month in Colombia, not 10 days. But that was good. She had a good time.
I have to get a nice gift for Becky because I'm going to miss our anniversary while I'm.
Well, that's you know what that's a good wife to let you do that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
she is, and I got to get her a nice birthday present. I'm still trying to top myself from the Guess Who. I don't know if I'm ever going to top myself with that, but I got to get her something.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's
my convention stuff for ShireCon at the end of the month. Page in Philadelphia. Beginning of the year.
Page in January. Yep.
TotalCon in February. North Texas in June. And WizardCon next July. So,
by the way, watch out because we had a mini COVID outbreak at ReaperCon, which I'm shocked because it's in Texas.
See, what did I tell you, Eric?
We had a few people. It wasn't as much as the bigger cons, but we did have a few people. Joe Wolf and a couple of people. They did have COVID when they got back. You know what? COVID is not that bad anymore.
No,
they get home, you take a rest, you're okay in about 3 or 4 days.
You two,
it's like a light flu.
You two keep healthy, okay?
I'll take all my vitamin D's.
Good.
I am doing my best.
Don't worry about it. All right, folks. On that note, as always, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice. Roll them well. Remember, Sunday for Gamers Health, 8 p.m.
Good night, folks.